Hello and welcome to Horror Cult Trash Over, the show that discusses all the masterpieces and trash the pieces of genre cinema. I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
Oh boy. Oh boy. So, actually, before we get into this, did you want to give a mention to things we watched at FrightFest yesterday?
Yeah.
It fits with the theme of the episode.
Yeah. So we, over the weekend, have visited London for the FrightFest Halloween All Dayer. How many films was it?
Was 6, but we did miss the first film because of train troubles.
Thank you,
Trains.
London, Midland, or whatever trains. They made us very late, and
It sounds like it's probably a good thing though that we missed it.
Yeah, so we missed a screening of Candy Corn, new film starring PJ Souls and Tony Todd, two genre favourites.
Yeah, according to our friend Luke, apparently it was terrible. But that theme continued with We Summon the Darkness.
Yeah.
So these are upcoming films that are coming out soon. I mean, obviously, we're not going to tell you not to watch them, but this is our personal recommendations.
Yeah, we weren't fans of them, if we're being honest.
We Summon the Darkness was dog shit. It has Do You Thinkers, actress in it from Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Yes.
Johnny Knoxville hamming it up as a priest.
Yeah. Not fans of that.
No. There was a short film before it though called The Haunted Swordsman, which was fantastic.
That was very good. That was all
puppets.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, and it do you know what? At the beginning I thought this was puppets. It was really well made. Really well made.
And then after that it was an episode of a TV show called Into the Dark, which our American listeners might be a bit more familiar with.
Yeah, it's a Blumhouse production on Hulu.
Yeah, this is an episode called Uncanny Annie. And it was fine. It wasn't amazing, but compared to everything else, it was, fine.
Yeah, the little girl in it looked like Carol Kane, which I appreciated.
She was the most fucking annoying ghost girl I've ever seen.
She was, but it was by the books, sort of horror. Yeah.
Standard. And then it was Swallow. Dog shit. Again, this is apparently a masterpiece. I don't see it. It was beautifully made trash.
Yeah, it was a film that sort of thought it was giving a important message, and it potentially could have. It's a film about a woman who deals with her trauma by swallowing things, objects, sometimes very sharp objects or batteries, and I don't feel it felt like it wanted to say something, but it wasn't really sure what it wanted to say, so it became a little confusing. I wasn't really a fan.
Yeah, and then we had Trick, which is from the director of My Bloody Valentine 3D and Drive Angry, starring Tom Atkins, and even Tom Atkins couldn't save that film. It started off really good. First 5 minutes are full of great gore and a scary killer, but then it was just a mess.
It became a little convoluted by the end.
Yeah.
A little confusing.
But we concluded the day with a good film, Scare Package, which was great. I'd highly recommend that one. It's full of practical effects and gore. It's a horror comedy anthology film, and you can tell it was, made by people who love horror films.
Yeah, a lot of funny in references
to obscure stuff as well. You got stuff like Troll 2, Street Trash, Halloween 3, Friday the 13th Final Chapter, things like that, and it really did feel like a love letter to the genre.
Yeah, it was a fun watch, which is what you need around this time of year. But Halloween's over now. But...
Yeah, FrightFest is great. Despite the fact that, we spent a whole day, traveled to London for that many bad films and then one good film. Despite that, it's always a fun experience, even if they are bad.
Yeah, the experience is always fun if the films themselves aren't the best.
Yeah. But, that aside, the film we have for you guys today, because let's face it, the last 4 or 5 weeks we've been talking about good films, because it's been Halloween and we wanted to talk about films we love.
Horror films as well.
Yeah, so
horror films.
I mean, we're horror cult trash ever, so we thought we'd give you guys a bit of trash, because it's been a while. And what better trash could we pull out for you guys than Spice World, the movie?
Oh, this was a hard film to sit through.
I said to Chris,
not in a good way.
I stand by it. This could be the worst film of all time. I think it's a possibility. Because nothing happens in this film, but so much happens. It's... Yeah.
I've never watched, and I said this to you whilst we were watching it, I've never watched a film where so much happens. We were making our notes, and I found it so hard to get everything down that I wanted to write down. Yet, there is absolutely no real plot.
Yeah, no, we're not going to give you a plot for the song because there isn't one.
There's not. Well, there is. The plot is essentially the Spice Girls have their first live performance at the Albert Hall, and they need to get there.
Which happens within the final 5 minutes of the film.
Yeah. The end goal is the Spice Girls going and performing their first live performance, and the word live is used very loosely here, because I'm pretty sure they weren't singing live at the end.
So you Spice Girls fan?
I was a Spice Girls fan, and it's not what's disappointing about this film, because I don't think this film was ever going to be Oscar worthy. But I like the Spice Girls. There's a lot of nostalgia attached to their music, and credit where it's due, they did the whole music thing very well. They were a phenomenon. That they were world famous, very highly successful in the UK especially. Everyone loved them back in the day.
Oh yeah, no, I had a Spice Girls t-shirt when I was like 5.
Yeah, I collected the postcards. Yeah. Victoria was my favourite.
Funny thing about this was, before this film, well, obviously I see this when I was younger, and when I watched it when I was younger, I thought it was great. I mean, obviously, I was young, so that's my excuse for that. But Victoria is now officially my favourite Spice Girl after watching this film, because all she does is she's just an absolute bitch to everybody throughout. She is fucking horrible, but it's so entertaining. I'm going to quickly run through some trivia because we need to get into this film, because this is going to take a while.
It's a slog.
It's a Razzie winner. It's a Stinker Award winner. This is probably the first one we've had of these, and we've spoke about some fucking trash.
Oh, Showgirls.
Showgirls won a Stinker Award?
I believe so.
Oh, well, I mean, it is on the same level as Showgirls. Stephen Fry was only in it because he wanted to get some autographs for his nephews. Gary Oldman wanted to be in it.
Because his sons were into the Spice Girls.
Yeah. And then, the rest of the trivia is probably just going to come as we go along, because there's so much to say. Did you see the budget for this film?
No, I didn't actually. What was the budget?
Did you have a look? I want to see your reaction when you see it.
Budget for this film. Where is it? On IMDb?
Yeah. Scroll down a little bit more. It's on there.
Budget $25 million. Oh my god.
Where did it go?
Wow.
Fucking Victoria's outfits. Is that where all the budget went?
Fucking hell.
So it certainly weren't the UFO effects.
Ain't being funny though, but it looks like it made its money back.
Oh yeah. More. It was very successful. Directed by Bob Spears. Bob Spears. So Bob Spears was more famous for his television work in the UK, particularly with Absolutely Fabulous. He should have stuck
Fawlty
to it.
Towers. Yeah. Some really great sitcoms.
And then he did this.
Yeah.
So, getting into it.
Well, in fairness, it's Jennifer Saunders that suggested. Jennifer Saunders, who was in Absolutely Fabulous, she suggested that he directed this film.
What a mistake.
He'd just done That Darn Cat in America, the Christina Ricci film, and this was his film afterwards, so he didn't do much after this film.
Yeah, his career sort of just stops.
Yeah.
So the film opens with an opening credit sequence set to one of the best Spice Girls songs, which actually was nominated for a Razzie Award for worst song.
That's very harsh. I like this song.
It opens with Too Much, and the opening sequence is actually in the style of a James Bond opening sequence.
It's very much a rip-off of the James Bond.
Which equally transitions into Top of the Pops.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of references to British culture, particularly British culture at the time in the 90s. So I don't know how much this is going to translate to an American audience. Essentially, Top of the Pops is, or was, excuse me, it's finished now, was a sort of a chart show.
Yeah.
With live. Not live performances.
Can't see you, Chris.
They can't see it. Sorry, you can't see me. But I was. Yeah. So.
What were you doing? Would you like to explain what you?
Well, I was just sort of
air
quotes live performances where the acts were there, but they never sung live.
Well, speaking about our audience not getting it, our audience. You shady little bitches. As soon as we announced this film, the backlash we got with sick emojis, people asking us why. In fact, that's my dad. My dad, like, questioning us why we're doing this. People were... Facebook and Instagram, probably that's the biggest reaction we've got to announcing a film for a podcast. So, a podcast episode so far. People were absolutely disgusted with doing this film. Guys. We're horror cult trash ever. We pick films apart. We're not doing this because we like it. We're doing it because we've got a fucking lot to talk about in this film.
There is a lot.
It is a trash film.
There is a lot to talk about.
We don't like this for good reasons. It is a trashterpiece. Anyway, just to get that out there. Thanks for the support. Love you really.
Yeah.
So it says in the credits, based on an idea by the Spice Girls. This is why you should never let musicians make films.
So the Spice Girls get a writing credit for coming up with the idea. What fucking idea? I mean, what? I don't understand. They clearly didn't come up with a fucking plot. So all these random tangents and shit that go on throughout the film, they must have just sat there and been like, oh, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? Oh, should we do this scene? Should we do a scene with aliens? Yeah, that'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Was that your Jerry impression? Sounds just like
just an impression. So, Spice Girls and Kim Fuller has a writing credit. Now, you must be thinking, oh, who's Kim Fuller?
I am.
Kim Fuller wrote From Justin to Kelly. As well.
Another film you wanted to cover.
Well, I'm not sure cover. Also wrote Seeing Double, the S7 film.
That explains it.
So, I don't know who this Kim Fuller is.
Well, Kim Fuller seems to have an obsession with writing films with British pop groups with dildos.
With dildos.
There are mentions to sex toys in both of these films.
There are, yeah. She, well, actually, I'm not sure. Kim, I'm assuming, is a lady. Has written some shite. Sorry, Kim, if you're listening.
We should have, to be honest, we should have actually asked if we could have got anyone from this film to do an interview on this podcast, because I'm pretty sure they would have said yes.
Well, actually, one of the points I would like to make, and I probably will make throughout the film, is the sheer abundance of fantastic British talent in this film. And there is, I mean, the Spice Girls can't act
Michael Barrymore!
Yeah. The Spice Girls can't act for shit. But a lot of the other actors in the film are real seasoned, fantastic actors, and some of them in cameos, but we'll get to it.
Well, my next note was actually acting. Holy shit! Because as soon as the song finishes and they start speaking, oh my god, it hits you like a ton of bricks. This is the definition of jarring.
Throughout the excuse me, I'm choking on my words here. Throughout the film, you find that, you know, the Spice Girls one of the biggest things about them was their personality.
Yeah.
You know, they were mediocre singers. Mel C was clearly the best singer. I think everyone can agree on that. And the biggest thing about them was their personality. Now, someone has tried to write a fucking script to emphasize these personality traits, and it ain't working. So then when you get the Spice Girls to learn a script and act it out, it's even worse because it feels so fake and they can't act. I'm sorry, ladies.
Speaking of which,
act.
they're meeting with Elton John.
Yeah, so we start...
Great glasses, Alton, I like them.
So they finish their Top of the Pops. They're in the backstage at the BBC and they meet Elton John briefly. And they're, great glasses, Elton John.
I like them.
And that's it. That's Elton John's cameo out of the way.
And the sound editing, straight away, oh my god, it is so bad. Honestly, I cannot believe a wide release film had this sound editing. This is terrible. And we get introduced to Alan Cumming, who plays... and I don't really know what he is, because he plays a documentary maker, but it's made up for most of the film that they don't know he's there. It's like an unofficial documentary he's making. Yes, but then they acknowledge him at some points, and then their manager knows about him. It's like, what is this guy's purpose?
Yeah, and the times that he pops up filming them are just really weird times. Just them performing, really. He's acting as if he's, gonna get a real behind the scenes look at the girls. Yeah, he thinks he's David Attenborough.
Yeah.
He's gonna get some real juicy gossip.
Well, he wants this juicy gossip, but like the performing at one point is like, oh my god, get Jerry's face. Oh my god, get her face. I was like, yeah, but what's that going to achieve for you? What are you trying to...
I don't understand what he wanted for his film. Potentially it's as shit as this one if it's ever released.
Oh, I would love to see his finished film. Yeah. It's just like them just doing nothing, which is this film. Then we get introduced to their bus driver, fucking Meatloaf. Funny story, when I was a kid and I was like fascinated with films and, getting more into films, I was really curious about Rocky Horror Picture Show. And whenever I would ask my parents about what happens in Rocky Horror Picture Show, they would refer to Meatloaf as, well, the bus driver from Spice World. Oh, dear. Yes, I had a tragic childhood. Anyway, so yeah, Meatloaf's a bus driver. We don't get much from him.
We don't actually. He doesn't do... He just
does a little
pun.
Verse. He does a pun later on about...
He does one pun about...
I won't do that.
I won't do
blah,
that,
blah,
yeah.
blah.
But he just... The poor bastard, he's a very talented singer.
He's not a bad actor.
Yeah, he was great in
do you know what?
Fight Club.
He's the best actor in this film.
Well,
Chris.
Don't be silly.
Chris, did you watch the same film as me? Even everyone who you're saying are great talented actors, no one did a fucking good job in this film other than Meatloaf.
Well, Meatloaf had nothing to work with.
Exactly. He didn't do anything, and he was still a better actor. That one scene where he does that pun was more convincing than any other character in this film.
Okay. I believe that.
Well, then we get the Spice Girls acting out all their stereotypes from the names.
Well, they exit. Well, what I found a bit weird is they're like, we're going to exit through the back because we don't want all these fans everywhere getting on our nerves. You don't think it's a bit harsh? And then they exit the BBC and there's all these screaming fans outside.
Hi guys!
You promised us we wouldn't be out here. Now we're going to do some autographs and
then they
photos.
And they're so false. They're like, hi guys, we'll sign this for you.
Just been bitching about them not 2 minutes ago, and then you're like, I'll sign this for you. I'll do that for you.
So, yeah, they get into the van or the bus.
Big double-decker bus.
Union Jack
with
bus.
With the Union Jack
Looks like something Boris Johnson would drive around.
Oh God, yeah, pure Brexit, definitely.
The Brexit bus. Can we refer to it as the Brexit bus?
Definitely Brexit bus.
I think it was originally known as the Spice bus, but it's now the Brexit bus.
It's the Brexit bus.
So on board the Brexit bus, Victoria doesn't know what to wear.
Well, the bus is like the fucking TARDIS, isn't it? Obviously, it's just a double-decker bus. You go inside, and it's massive. Everyone's got their own little section.
Baby has a swing.
Yeah, baby's got a swing. There's just... Everyone's got their own little... Victoria's got a big wardrobe, obviously.
Yeah, she doesn't know what to wear, and then Sporty's like, oh... I don't know, what is it, the little Gucci dress, or the little Gucci dress, or the little Gucci dress? And she's like, oh, I don't know. And then Baby's like, why do you wear the little Gucci dress? She's like, oh, good idea.
They read each other a lot through this. They are like a bunch of drag queens.
Oh, this is a fucking... We thought the fog was gay heaven.
Yeah.
How on earth did we, not even... When we were watching it, I didn't even think this, but yeah, this film is gay heaven.
Yeah. They're just reading each other to film the whole thing.
Mal B's looking for her boots. Jerry's wearing them. She's fucking fuming.
The boots were really ugly. They were just boots,
yeah, they weren't great. And then we cut to them doing an interview with Jonathan Ross, who is being incredibly racist.
What did he say?
Well, they were speaking in different languages, and he was trying to guess them. It was quite obvious what these languages were. I can't speak anything other than English, but I still knew what they were doing. And he was like, I think, if I remember right, I think Baby Spice was speaking in Japanese, and he was like, oh, so this reached out to our Spanish audience then. I was like, oh my God, really? And he did that for each and every one of them.
Oh. Oh, I missed that.
So cheers, Jonathan. Cheers, Jonathan Ross.
Job.
Great input. And then we get some American filmmakers who come into the film.
I'm assuming it's a film producer played by George Wendt, and you might know him better from Cheers. So another great comedic actor. He was great in Cheers. And I remember... what I wrote down, what he said was, who cares if they can act?
Yeah, comparison to Marilyn Monroe.
I know, yeah, Marilyn Monroe can act. I was like, that's harsh. That's not even true. She was a fantastic actress.
Speaking of actual actors, after this we get Roger Moore, who is a fucking nightmare in this film.
Yeah, so you've got Richard E. Grant as their tour manager. What I'm assuming is that Roger Moore plays some sort of executive at their what would they call them? Music
record
label. So some sort of executive at their record label, and he doesn't interact with the girls at all throughout the film.
Don't blame him.
Yeah, and he just rings up Richard E. Grant. He filmed his scenes in one day.
Yeah.
And he just rings up Richard E. Grant and
just reads riddles to him.
Yeah,
he just talks shit.
Strange riddles that make no sense. And he's always got a cat, little reference
or
to...
Or a
pig. But a reference to Donald Pleasance in James Bond.
Yeah.
So it's all just James Bond references.
Shakes his cocktail.
Yeah.
Says, no, don't stir it or whatever.
It's very cheesy. And he makes absolutely no sense what he says throughout the whole film. He calls sporadically throughout the future.
It really is just Roger Moore talking shit, and it was so annoying to watch.
Yeah, it was.
Do you know Roger Moore's my favourite James Bond?
I've never watched a James Bond film.
Yeah, Roger Moore's my favourite. I think he's very, he's got a lot of charisma and whatnot. I'm not in this, evidently. Anyway, so do you know Jerry Halliwell or Jerry Horn or whatever she is now, wanted to be in The World Is Not Enough, which came out after this, and people would have seen this film. We can see why she didn't get the role.
Yeah. Wait, isn't World Is Not Enough? Is that not the one with Denise Richards?
It is the one with Denise Richards. Anyway, We're not going on a James Bond tangent.
Let's not. No.
We get a performance of is it Say You'll Be There? The name of the song.
It is Say You'll Be
Yeah,
There. And, on the Jules Holland.
Jules Holland.
Jules Holland. For our American audiences, I feel like I'm gonna have to explain a lot. Jules Holland is he was in a band called Squeeze, but he's made sort of a second career on TV hosting a sort of a music variety show, isn't it?
All of our British listeners are going to be so pissed off with this.
He's known to be a fantastic musician and pianist. So he's there helping them set up for their live performance.
Oh, Jules Holland's so much better than this. So, Alan Cummings there, just in the corner of the room filming them, as always, like a fucking weirdo. And one of their keyboard player makes a mistake, and Scary Spice is like, "Oi, sort your fingers out, Div."
It's so weird because that was so rude. Like, what are you trying to make these characters likeable? You're just telling off this poor man because his fingers slipped.
Just don't know what to say.
No, it's just...
The pregnant friend comes in now.
Yeah, so their pregnant friend, is it Nicola? That's her name?
I've honestly got her wrote down as pregnant friend.
Pregnant friend. So pregnant friend joins them for some reason to say hello. Yeah, that's about it really. It's just...
Oh, no it ain't.
Oh, no?
No. They have a conversation about being a mother.
Of course.
And then we get a fantasy sequence of Spice Girls all looking like a bunch of trash bags.
Yeah.
In the future, acting like they've just came off Jeremy Kyle. American audiences, just Google that, please.
Jerry Springer.
Yeah, trashy Jerry Springer, even trashier Jerry Springer. Yeah, and the sequence just involves them just being really common and...
Yeah, but acting like they're really bad mums.
Yeah.
Like Victoria sent hers to boarding school. They're all really resentful of ever having kids. Baby Spice has had about 7 kids. And they're all sort of... Oh, we could have made it if we didn't have children. Imagine what our lives would have been like. We
all smoking.
Yeah.
I think one of them's pregnant again.
Sporty Spice is on a treadmill, but she looks like she's put on quite a bit of weight.
Yeah.
She looks like Waynetta Slob, doesn't she?
And then, the kids upstairs start playing Mama by the Spice Girls, and one of them's like, "Oh, fuck off! Turn it off! Turn it down, you little shit!" And, end the fantasy sequence.
Then we get Say You'll Be There again.
Yeah, we get the same song again. We get
probably a longer performance.
That's when Alan Cummings like, "Get a face! Get Jerry's face!" And then we get a newspaper editor called Kevin. Who is our antagonist.
Yeah, essentially. And again, another character that doesn't have any scenes with the girls. He's played by Barry Humphries.
Yeah.
Who was Dame Edna Everage.
He has a killer moustache, and we love a moustache on here. I mean, it's not notable enough to go on about. It's not exactly a feeder's moustache, but it's all right.
And he's talking about the front page of the newspaper said Spice Girls set to conquer the globe.
Yeah, he's sick of them.
There's a weird sense of, I don't want to say arrogance, but of sort of.
No, it is arrogance. It is absolutely arrogance.
Where the Spice Girls are going on like they are about to conquer the world. They're the biggest thing on the planet. They're all fantastic.
They're credited as writers, Chris, and they're saying they're going to conquer the globe. This is arrogance. This is like when John Carpenter wrote Halloween 3 and put the line in there, Halloween, the immortal classic. Like... Not even like 5 years after it was released. This is an example of that. This is them just really blowing their own trumpets. During the sequence, though, there's a really weird comedy scene where he's saying he doesn't care about Spice Girls, doesn't care what they do, and he's like, or even if they find a cure for deja vu, and his mate is like, I don't care about that or whatever, and then just repeats it, exact same scene.
Yeah, that's the point.
But it just seemed so
It's a cheesy gag.
Yeah, it just didn't fit in.
It's a cheesy gag in a film full of cheesy gags.
It starts raining in their office, and then Kevin wants to destroy girl power. Thanks a lot, Donald Trump.
There's a little Donald Trump-ish, yeah.
He wants to destroy it. And so, back to these filmmakers, the Americans, and they're pitching some film ideas to the Spice Girls manager that sounds better than this film.
What? Which one was this one?
This is one about their grandmother. They live with their old grandmother. One of them's a skier.
Oh, yes! Yeah, so this dude with George Wendt, he's a writer. He says, he's got a great idea for the Spice Girls film. And they're all... Are they all, like, trying to look after their grandmother?
Yeah.
They're all sisters, and they're trying to look after their grandmother and find some sort of money. So they decide that the best way is for Mel C to become an Olympic skier. And to do that, Mel C has to get over her fear of heights and snow. What the fuck?
I can't believe you remember all this.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm just thinking, what the fuck is going on about?
Well, the manager doesn't seem too keen on the idea.
No, understandably.
And then I've got written down, why is their bus constantly driving around London? Because it is just driving around London.
It's not going anywhere.
They're just going around in circles, and anyone who's been to London will know what a fucking nightmare that is and what traffic's like around London.
It's surprising that it's always in motion.
Yeah, they're never stuck in traffic.
You ever been in a fucking bus in the middle of London?
We were on a bus.
You ain't moving.
We were on a bus that was meant to take half an hour once, and we were on it for about an hour and a half. And yet they could just drive around London whenever they like with no traffic.
Really?
So
it's a scene in the bus, just a very short scene, of Jerry and Mel B playing chess. And Mel B's like, oh fuck chess. I'm just gonna move this horse wherever I like. And Jerry's getting really irate. I said, I'm gonna slap you in a minute. And that's it. End of scene. That's it.
But then we soon get a scene talking about how disgusting it is that Baby Spice is so innocent. And she's a piece of shit because she's really innocent. Which leads to a Victorian flashback where she gets away with murder.
Did you say Victoria or Victorian?
Victorian.
Oh, okay, yeah. So there's a little flash. Well, it's not. It's another fantasy sequence, isn't it? Of a sort of Agatha Christie whodunit, and Poirot's there, played by Hugh Laurie, another very talented actor. American audiences would know him from House, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, Hugh Laurie's there, and he said, "Oh, this man's been riddled with bullets. Who could it be?"
There's Baby Spice sitting there with a fucking gun.
Spice with a machine gun, and she smiles. He's like, "Oh no, it's not you. It's the professor."
Well, after this, we get the greatest dialogue exchange in cinematic history.
Where? On the bus?
Yes.
Where they're talking about being stereotyped?
No. When they're talking about fish.
Oh, okay.
So, Scary's having a look at a fish tank, comparing fish to people and about her ex. And, so, Jerry Halliwell, Ginger Spice, starts talking about fish. And she's like, did you know the largest fish in the world is a manta ray? While she's talking about this, Scary Spice is still at this fish tank and she starts shaking it. She's like, ah! And she just screams at these fish for no fucking reason. And then after that, this is why Posh is now my favourite Spice Girl. She turns to fucking Ginger and she's like, and then there's the little ginger one who's full of useless information about manta rays.
The way she says it.
It's horrible. There's just so Posh.
The weird thing is that they're talking about being stereotyped. And Baby obviously being stereotyped being innocent, Victoria being objectified, and I don't understand what the stereotype for Jerry was.
What is Ginger's stereotype? Because you got Baby who acts like a fucking child. You got Posh who's obviously stuck up. Scary's just screaming at things.
Sporty's always kicking and shit. And I feel like they didn't really have one for Jerry. So they were like, oh, let's just make her intelligent. So she comes out with these random facts. And she's very good at chess.
What's the best part about the fish fact?
It's not even true. Apparently it's not even true.
Would you like to tell us what the real largest fish is?
I don't know. Did you write it down?
I didn't. It is on the
God.
IMDb trivia. But honestly, why would you not research this line before putting it in?
Maybe it was true at the time.
Oh, no.
Maybe
this was never true.
Discovered.
This was never true. But I'm sure glad they did include it though, because it does make for a very entertaining sequence. Have you found it yet?
No. Oh yeah, Jerry mentioned this is from IMDb, so it maybe take this with a little pinch of salt.
I believe IMDb over Ginger Spice.
Jerry mentioned that the largest fish in the world is the manta ray. That is false. The largest is the whale shark at 40 feet long. In fairness though, manta ray is funnier.
So, after the discussion about fish, they have a photo shoot, a lovely extended photo shoot sequence, in which they dress up as Wonder Woman, they do a Grease photo shoot.
Yeah, Jackie Kennedy, Diana Ross.
Yeah, Marilyn Monroe.
Ursula Andress, another James Bond reference.
Yeah, and Malby screaming in the camera.
Yeah, essentially.
She's still screaming.
And then they dress as each other. So essentially what they've said, they go to this photo shoot and they're having to do girl power, Sporty being sporty,
yeah. Posh being a bitch.
Baby being, innocent. And they're like, oh, fuck this. We're going to do what we want. And we're just going to be ourselves. And then so they dress up as famous characters from culture, and then they dress up as each other with hilarious results.
Yeah.
And essentially at the end they're like, oh no, it's not comfortable living in someone else's clothes.
Oh, I love this sporty outfit. This is comfortable.
Yeah. And then they decide to just be themselves again, and that's the point of that scene.
Yeah.
And then singing a song over it. I don't know what. I can't remember what song.
No, it wasn't memorable. And then we get introduced to another villain. This guy, he got the Fergie toe sucking pictures apparently.
Fergie toe sucking. Now, this one has to be explained for American audiences. This isn't Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas.
I wish it was.
This is so Sarah Ferguson was married to Prince Andrew, and they got divorced, and sort of she was vilified a bit, weren't she? She was sort of looked down upon. She was never good enough to be in the royal family. She was too wild. And photos were released quite a few years later of her boyfriend and her on a sun lounger, and he was sucking her toes.
And he also got
sucking her toes.
Well, apparently he also got the pictures of the Teletubbies taking a shit.
Yeah.
I'd love to see these photos. But the evil photographer is none other than Rocky Horror Picture Show and Shock Treatment creator Richard O'Brien.
Oh, excuse me. Crystal May's host as
Crystal
well.
May's host.
Thank you very much.
How could I forget?
Again, I'm sorry. I'm going to beat a dead horse on this one. Another fantastic talent. A real great mind. I love Rocky Horror, and to star in this, Jesus Christ. Apparently he's another one that filmed his scenes in like one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, this isn't his most dignified moment.
No.
Then we get a party. We get a character from Absolutely Fabulous.
We do.
The only clever thing in this film.
Do you know what? This is probably my favourite part, because I think Jennifer Saunders is fantastic. Love Jennifer Saunders, and this is her little cameo. And they were like, oh, I hate these. They go to a party, one of these sort of like press parties, and they're like, oh, I hate these parties. Everybody asks you how you are, but they don't really care. Trying to say about Fame in this film. I really don't get it. On one hand, they act as if Fame is awful, and then in the other part, they're like, sorry, I can't stop laughing. But in the other part, they're like, yeah, girl power. We're using our fame to right the wrongs of the world. But so they're at this party, and Victoria's talking to Eddie Monsoon, who's a character from Absolutely Fabulous, played by Jennifer Saunders, and they're talking about designer labels, and she goes, this is seriously the only part of the film that I actually laughed at, unironically. She goes, have you heard of manta ray? Oh, I love manta ray. I'm actually wearing manta ray right now. It's a shame Joanna Lumley wasn't in the film as well.
Well, after this, Mal B is having a conversation with Bob Geldof about his hair, and she's fucking fuming with it. She does not like what he's doing with his hair. It's too long, so she turns him into her.
Yeah. That's Bob Geldof again isn't a great actor. He's not an actor. He isn't. So it was a bit of a weird scene. Something else a bit weird was their pregnant friends at this party as well.
Oh yeah.
And some guy was like, "Are you with the Spice Girls?" And she goes, "No, I'm a nobody."
And he just like, okay, see ya.
Walks off.
Oh yeah, go fuck yourself.
I mean, it is a bit weird that this whole pregnant friend thing is so strange.
Well, she turns up at this party to ask them to be the godmothers to her child, to which Sporty Spice says that'll only happen if the child's a Liverpool supporter. But
they're like, so there is essentially 6 of them in this friendship group. We're meant to believe that this friendship group is 6 of them. Pregnant friend and the Spice Girls. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then the pregnant friend just wasn't talented enough to have joined the group? Like, what? I don't get it. I just found that really weird. Why would they add somebody to the dynamic that isn't part of, or can't sing or dance or do it? She's just some random pregnant woman that keeps popping in and out.
Their only friend.
Their only friend, some pregnant woman that keeps popping in and out of the film.
Let's face it, after this film finished, after she gave birth, they probably weren't even friends with her anymore. They're only interested in because she's pregnant. Like every conversation they brought up about her being pregnant.
Yeah, essentially.
Well, after this, the girls finally acknowledge Alan Cumming, and he asked them about guys. He asked them what their opinion is on men, to which Scary Spice says something that is so morally wrong. You should be able to will them in, and then they're trapped. And then they make a comment about ordering them like pizza.
Yeah. It's a strange thing, because the whole point of girl power is equality.
Yeah.
And she says it, equality between the sexes.
It's like, yeah, you should fucking trap men.
Yeah, we should just order men like pizza.
Yeah, just trap them in. It's such a terrible line, and it just doesn't sit well.
No, it's a weird. I don't get what their message. And then I'm not going to try and find a fucking message.
No, don't. This isn't Showgirls. I mean, maybe Showgirls, there was a little message in there.
Yeah,
there's no message in this.
None.
This is just a random idea that somehow got made for 25 million. And after this, someone says, Alan Cumming says to Ginger, he's like, do you like men, Ginger? And she's like, is the Pope Catholic? And this creates some fucking huge uproar where they took it a little too literally, and they thought they were accusing the Pope of not being Catholic.
Well, that's what obviously the paper's out to get them, and the paper publishes on the front page, Spice Girls question whether the Pope is Catholic. And then you get on the TV, sort of the Archbishop of wherever in the UK, played by Richard Bryars. Again, another fantastic actor. Why the fuck Richard Bryars is in this film? An absolute legend of TV, sitcoms, and film as well. Absolute legend. Love Richard Bryars. The fuck is he doing in this film? He's like, it's disgusting. I think it's disgusting.
I want to know where they've heard this.
Yeah. So to make amends, Richard E. Grant gets them to perform in Italy.
Yeah, after Roger Moore talking shit again.
Yeah, but I'm assuming what the reason they've gone to Italy, and they've gone to Milan, which isn't not the fucking Vatican, so I don't understand why they went to Milan. But they go to do a TV performance in Italy to make amends with the Pope.
And to make amends, they go and perform a song by a paedophile.
Oh, God. So, a little bit of context. There was a famous singer in the UK during the 70s and 80s called Gary Glitter. Stop laughing. Now, Gary Glitter, unfortunately, around the time this film was made and released, was found to be a paedophile, essentially. So this caused issues, because he actually had a 4-minute cameo in the film.
Uh-huh.
That was deleted, but they perform a song called Wanna Be in My Gang, which was a very famous Gary Glitter hit. And it's pretty much essential to this scene in the film in Italy. Watching it now, it's awkward as fuck.
Yeah.
It also actually it's a similar sort of controversy to the new Joker film, featuring a Gary Glitter song. The hope that he didn't get any royalties.
Well, no, it's been confirmed that with Joker, he didn't get any royalties for that.
But potentially he could have for
this. This is when it just happened.
It just happened. It just came out.
And you know what? This is what pisses me off. They could have deleted this entire fucking Catholic Pope.
Oh
whatever
my god,
bullshit.
They could have actually.
They could have deleted all of that.
It doesn't do anything to the.
It would have probably shaved off about 5-10 minutes, and you wouldn't know. You would never know.
You wouldn't have known because it does nothing for the plot.
No.
It does fuck all.
Well, they perform it once, and they have the Dream Boys come out. These strippers.
The song fucking twice, don't we?
We get the strippers come out, dancing with them, and they're fuming. They're not having it. That these guys are coming out dancing sexually. So Posh is like, I ain't having these tacky dancers. Like, okay, you're saying tacky dancers in a film that is probably the tackiest film of all time. Irony. And then they were checking them out, and Posh is like, oh, looking at their underwear and their big balls, like, do you think that's real down there? And I can't remember who replied. Mel B's like, nah, looks like rolled up socks. and then Baby Spice is there, and she's like, oh, well, I would have you in my bedroom, but I've got a rabbit in my bed. There's the dildo reference. I've got a green giraffe. I've got Buzz, Woody, the alien, and a hot water bottle. So there's just no room for you. And after this weird scene of Baby Spice explaining all of her toys, we get the song again.
We do.
Second round of Do You Want to Be in My Gang?
They've come to a compromise. The gentlemen are fully dressed, and then the big reveal is when they turn around and they've got their asses hanging out. Equality between the sexes.
So then they get back to the UK. They're in the Brexit bus and driving through the woods.
They just returned to the UK.
But it's alright, Pope, hope you forgive us. Here's a song by a paedophile.
They just go to Italy, perform Wanna Be in My Gang,
moan about guys being sexual,
with their asses hanging out, to beg forgiveness from the Pope, and then just fuck off back to the UK.
They get on Brexit bus. They're going through the woods, and Sporty's needing the piss really bad. She starts screaming about it.
They all need a piss.
Then they all need a piss at the same
all
time.
the toilets on board clogged.
For some reason. Meatloaf took a big shit in the toilets.
So someone's had a big shit and blocked all the toilets.
Manager's making phone calls about it, saying that's not acceptable. So they all get off and they go
No, because he suggests to Meatloaf that Meatloaf should clear the toilet. Now Meatloaf explains that he loves the girls and he would do anything for them, but he won't do that.
Oh, jeez. Fucking kill me. Anyway, so the best of British culture, the Spice Girls go to take a piss in the woods. And then aliens appear.
So this is the scene where I think that their writing credits.
What are Spice Girls known for doing drugs?
I don't know. But I feel like this is one of the ideas that they came up with, and they were like, "Oh, it'd be great to have a scene with some aliens in."
They blend some genres in this film.
But then another quite arrogant scene though, because essentially these aliens land, so the girls don't get their piss in the end. So they forget about needing it. They must have pissed their pants.
They must have
pissed their pants. And so these aliens land and they come out and the girls are like, "Oh, what's going to happen to us?" And it turns out they're massive Spice Girls fans.
Yeah,
they want tickets to the event.
Well, they start off. One of them tries grabbing Malby's tits.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, you fucker, get off!" And then they start saying that they want tickets for the gigs. And then
that's so weird. The alien would just grab a tit.
Sexual harassment aliens.
Oh my god.
And then they're like, you've got subtitles for these aliens talking their own language, and somehow the Spice Girls understand their language, and they want tickets for the gigs, and nah, sorry, it's sold out. And then they start wanting to sign stuff, and I still swear now, one of them gets his dick out and asks Posh to sign it. He unzips something, and something big comes out, flesh colour, and is like, "Oh, sign this, Posh." And so she signs it, of course. She's fearless, she's Posh Spice. And then after that, one of them says the exact line of dialogue, "Give us a kiss, ginger one." And to which she does. She necks this alien. And they have pictures taken with them. And then, that's it. That scene's over.
So essentially, another massive tangent in this film, or just a scene that is completely pointless, it's just them getting sexually harassed by these aliens, and then going back to the bus, and then that's it.
You imagine the studio watching this after it's completed and saying, "Do you know what? Let's release this.
Yeah.
This is good enough for release." You imagine them pitching the idea to them. So there's this scene.
And then the aliens are massive Spice Girls fans because we're taking over the globe.
Yeah, these horny aliens turn up. One of them wants Posh to sign his dick. So yeah, alien sequence over. Doesn't really come back again until they start dancing at the end. And then we get a really dark sequence where Roger Moore and the gang all decide that the girls aren't allowed any time off. They have to just keep working.
Yeah, this is another one where I think they're trying to give some sort of message about the pains of being famous. And they want to get the morning off. And Richard E. Grant rings Roger Moore and says, "The girls want the morning off. They want to lie in. They want to go home."
And Roger Moore's like, "Oh, well, if you take a rabbit and you go to the moon," or some fucking shit like that.
And they're not allowed the morning off, and they're like, "Oh, really disappointed." But they're like pretending to be angry about it, and they come out, "Oh no, it's fine."
Yeah, but the reason they wanted the morning off is because pregnant friends got a baby due. That's pretty much it. They couldn't give a shit about their personal lives. And
I just thought they wanted to lie in.
No, they want something about this baby, but the manager is like, "Babies are allowed to be overdue, but you're not."
Yeah.
And then he tries bargaining with them by saying, "Look, if you carry on working, I'll buy you a milk chocolate Magnum."
There you go.
And they get the Magnums, I think, you know.
Placement there from Magnum.
And then we get fucking Michael Barrymore is a fucking nightmare.
Oh, so...
Another controversial British talent.
Yeah, so it's decided that they need to step up their game and they're going to dance camp.
Yeah.
Which is like a boot camp for dancing.
With an abusive dance teacher called Mr.
Yeah,
Step.
and Michael Barrymore, Mr. Step, is dressed up as a army sergeant, and he's fucking shit scene of them. Michael Barrymore was a big TV star at the time.
Well, I mean, that's not really what he's most famous for.
No, but he was a game show host and big TV star. Who was quite controversial after the film was released.
This is like fucking Crime Watch the movie.
Yeah. But he's showing them some stupid like ballet dance or something. It's not funny. It's just
he hams it up so much.
Yeah.
It's just annoying to watch.
And then again, the girls are like, "No, we're gonna do things our way."
So they all get in army gear, follow his steps, even though they said they're going to do it their way. Victoria's in a fucking army dress because she's amazing. And then they start chasing him. Yeah, it just doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so their way is, they start doing some sort of flamenco dancing, and they repeat the same thing over and over again. And it's like, oh, okay, so this is you doing it your way. And then they start chasing him, like, we're going to get you, Mr. Step. But, oh, okay. Is that the end of the scene? And no, they do an obstacle course.
Yeah, for some reason.
And they're doing a army marching chant. I didn't get the whole of it because it does go on a little bit, but part of it is
We Are the Spice Girls, some shit like that.
Yeah, strength and courage and a wonder bra.
Jesus Christ.
So it's like an army marching song to them saying about equality between the girl power, equality between the sexes, and a wonder bra.
Yeah.
So there we go.
And
That's
then
them doing it their way.
It turns into a horror film. They go to stay in a haunted mansion for some reason.
So the boot camp is on the grounds of a large mansion.
Of course it is.
So they stay over at the mansion.
Jason Voorhees makes an appearance.
Yes.
You hear
You do, yeah. Little Friday the 13th nod there.
Richard O'Brien makes his way through the toilet.
Comes out the toilet.
And then they all talk about they had the same dream. Where they had no heads. Apart from Victoria. She just had a normal face and no makeup on.
Oh, she was horrified that she had no makeup on. And they're all dressed for bed with a full face of makeup, but,
And that scene goes nowhere as well.
That's movies.
And then we get another film concept. And I know you'll enjoy this one.
Yes, so the next concept from the film writer is Spice Force 5.
Yeah.
And this is obviously a play on the Pulp Fiction. What's the Pulp Fiction one called? Fox something 5. The one that Uma Thurman's character was going to be in a TV pilot. Yeah, well, it's a reference to that one. Excuse me for not knowing the name. But it's Spice Force 5, and then we get a cutaway to them all dressed. And do you know what? They all look really good.
They do.
They do all look really good in silver.
Mal B becomes an accidental terrorist, starts blowing up buildings.
She's our demolition expert.
Yeah, Jerry turns into an old man.
Jerry turns into Bob Hoskins. So she's got the power of disguise, and she goes into a phone booth and comes out as Bob Hoskins, great actor, and who in Jerry's voice says "Girl power."
What does Sporty and Baby do? I did get that noted down.
Sporty is the Mission Impossible ripoff,
of course,
but she lowers herself and scores a goal on Sabutio. That is a 90s UK reference right there.
What does Baby
Google
do?
it, Sabutio. And then I think Emma just does kicks and flips.
Acts like a stupid fucking idiot as always.
Yeah, I think it's just kicks and flips and shit.
We know what Posh does. She makes cat noises.
Yeah, so we get the impression that the writer is a bit in love with Victoria. So he's just like, and Victoria's just Victoria.
She's
just
like meow.
Meow.
Well, then,
serving a little bit of Gothy Kendall from Drag Race UK, actually.
And then that again goes nowhere. I personally would prefer to have watched Spice Force 5, but
oh my god, Spice Force 5 would have been amazing.
We got this piece of shit instead. And then some kids win a competition.
This might actually be my favourite section of the film.
This is quite bizarre.
This is so strange. So these two children have won a competition to go on to the the Brexit bus. So they go on to the bus, and the Spice Girls aren't really that welcoming to them.
Yeah, you're right there. Drop some crisps.
Yeah, there's like a picky tea out of crisps and sausage rolls.
Next they went to the bargain bin in Tesco and got all the cheap stuff.
And like, welcome to the bus. Yeah, and then, excited. Famous and all, it's cracked up to be kids. So,
Posh just out of nowhere, just like, you fucking fascist slave driver.
Oh my god, yeah. And they're like, it's all well and good until you're forced to work for a fascist slave driver. And these kids are like, we just wanted to tour the bus.
It's like, yeah, we like wannabe. We just wanted to meet you. Anyway.
So after this, the girls, the Spice Girls are like, we're going to do things our way yet again. And so they exit the bus and decide to go on a fucking speedboat on the Thames.
But they hijack a speedboat.
They don't. No, I don't know. There's some dude driving it. The speedboat.
Not for much
so
longer.
They're on this fucking speedboat singing My Boy Lollipop. Having a great time.
Alan Cummins appeared out of nowhere again.
Yeah.
That Spice Girls on sea.
On sea, you're on the fucking Thames. But what I don't get is that these two kids have gone and they want to go on the Spice bus. Like, the Spice bus has...
The Brexit bus.
The Brexit bus has a load of shit going on. There's a swing, there's all the girls' stuff, there's a lot to see and do in there. But no, they're like, let's sing My Boy fucking Lollipop on a
It's not even a fucking Spice Girls song.
And, I ain't being funny, it looks fucking freezing as well. Those poor kids.
The manager's like, oh, this is rock and roll.
They didn't even hijack the speedboat. The guy's driving, but he's not driving very well. And ends up going over some sort of... something in the water. I don't even know what it is.
It's a plank of wood in the water.
Plank of wood, but this speedboat flies through the air. Victoria and these two children fall off the speedboat into the middle of the Thames. So Sporty dives in to go and save them. They end up getting to the shore. Victoria's absolutely fuming.
And the kids are, yeah, we're fine. And Posh is like, you mean I got wet for nothing?
No, Mel C got wet for nothing.
Oh, was it Mel C?
Save them. Victoria's the one that told the kid to shut up.
That fucking... Do you know what? You win a competition when they drown you and shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So, we had a great time. Shut up.
In reality, if this happened, if the Spice Girls took two kids on a fucking boat that they escaped their bus with...
Without any
parental permission.
Yeah.
And then fucking ends up with the kids flying off the boat and into the water and nearly drowning, then...
What the fuck?
They'd be fucking arrested.
I don't... this scene... fucking hell. But I genuinely feel like the kids would have had a better time on the fucking bus.
Yeah. They would have been flung into the water, would they?
Oh my
Of course,
God.
does make press though, because Richard O'Brien was obviously there snorkeling at the time.
He was.
He knew they were going to spontaneously...
The driest wetsuit in history, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes to the papers. Then they have a big argument at the Royal Albert Hall. And we get some more Roger Moore. And then the girls all go their separate ways. They have a bit of an argument. The whole argument is just Posh just like pointing at the manager and saying sassy shit the whole time.
Yeah, so they argue with the manager. I can't remember. Probably.
It wasn't a memorable argument. All I remember is Posh just pointing at him.
Yeah, something to do with being worked to the bone or whatever, and them getting into trouble, and basically their lives aren't their own. They do whatever the manager tells them to do because they're a business. They're a cog in the machine rather than their own people. Yeah, we get it. Thank you. Thanks for that message, ladies.
Yeah, then we get them all doing their own thing. Like, Jerry's watching some fucking random film.
Well, no, an old Barbara Stanwyck film. I recognise Barbara Stanwyck.
Well, Posh is in the bath. Scary looks like she's about to form a cult. She's got all candles.
She's in bed with, like,
it's just like a torture chamber. Like, I swear there is, like... It looks really gothic. And,
yeah.
But anyway, whilst they're all doing their own thing, they have a flashback to when their origins. Disclaimer, this is not the real origin story of the Spice Girls. They were not all really homeless and living in a cafe.
And that's so strange. Is that they've put in this story of them. I'm not sure if the idea is that they were homeless.
I think it is.
But they're like really poor and they go to this cafe all the time and they can't afford anything.
Yeah.
And they start singing Wannabe for the cafe owner.
Mm-hmm.
And the pregnant friend's there, obviously not pregnant. And she's just sort of like, listen to the ladies sing and dance.
And the cafe guy's like, shit, it's not jazz.
Essentially. And then they're all reminiscent and
we're going to be fucking huge, we are.
Yeah, and they act as if they wrote Wannabe. Don't they?
They do.
Like, you didn't write Wannabe. So I don't know what sort of message they're trying to give to the audience. Is that's how they actually got together. It's so strange.
Yeah.
And then they all meet back up at the cafe. They're all clearly reminisced at the same time.
Yeah.
The cafe's closed down. They wonder whatever happened to Bill. So do we, because it's never answered. And
Scary's like, let's go get some chips.
Yeah, and then like, let's go get some chips. And they sat on a bench eating their chips. And what's her name? Jerry. God, I'm forgetting their names. And Jerry says, it's so strange. We used to wonder where our next meal's coming from. Now we wonder what position our next song's going to be.
And then we get Stephen Fry.
Yeah, and I just found it so strange. Why are they acting out this scene why are they giving the impression that they, were penniless?
Well, didn't you say Ginger was actually a talk show host or something?
Well, yeah, she was a game show host in Spain before she was in the Spice Girls, and I don't know why they'd given this impression that they were really poor or homeless, when they must have had families that they lived
It's really
with.
Insensitive.
Just, you're playing yourselves in a film. You're giving the impression that this obviously is a caricature of yourself, but you're given the impression that you are playing yourselves in this film, especially when you're the Spice Girls and 75% of your success has come from your personalities and rather than their talent. And I would never say that they're not talented, but the largest part of their appeal was their personalities.
Yeah.
And so to give this impression to kids that are watching that you were didn't have 2 pennies to rub together and you were potentially homeless, really weird. It makes no fucking sense.
Well, the Stephen Fry scene is pointless. It's just him as a judge on one of their fantasy scenes, saying that he's, I fucking know, sending them to prison for having a shit soul or something.
They talk about the fickle nature of fame, and they get a little cutaway to Stephen Fry sentencing them.
Yeah.
To appearing on a cheesy chat show in Taiwan, talking about how they used to be famous.
Yeah.
Come on, little.
And he tells them
commentary
to,
on Fame.
in the US version, he tells them to call Hootie and the Blowfish. In the UK version, he tells them to call Gary Barlow from Take That.
Take That. It's a bit harsh, because I thought Take That was still quite popular at the time.
Yeah. So they come up with this idea, and that is it would be fantastic if they could just take their pregnant friend out clubbing and go and get her fucked up while she's heavily pregnant.
Yeah. Well, we get, before then, it's a scene of Richard E. Grant.
And Elvis Costello as a bartender.
Yeah. And so they have, like... So Richard E. Grant is sort of like their road manager. And their sort of assistant. I don't even know how to describe her or what her name is. She's in there throughout the film.
Mm.
And she's played by Claire Rushbrook, who was most famous for being in a fantastic Mike Leigh film, Secrets and Lies, just a year or two before. Really fantastic, great actress. And if I remember correctly, maybe this is the film she did after that, which is so
You'd assume so.
disappointing. Like, really, two opposite ends. Secrets and Lies is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. And to go to this film is a drop. Poor Claire. But they're in a bar, and they are also talking about the fickle nature of fame, and how you're big one day and no one the next day. And the bartender's fucking Elvis Costello playing himself.
Yeah, I don't know why he'd agreed to that.
I don't understand that one.
Well, they actually... remember when our episode used to be an hour long?
Oh my god.
This is like on 71 minutes already.
Oh shit.
We're still not at the end. So they take pregnant friend out, try and get her drunk, and start dancing to their own song in a club.
Yeah, so they decide that the way... What they're gonna do it their way.
Yeah.
And take their pregnant friend out to a club, the Ministry of Sound, where they go, oh, I love this song. Yeah, you would love it. We wrote it.
And, no, you never.
You didn't write that song. And it's Who Do You Think You Are? Like a dance remix.
Yeah.
And it's they're dancing in the middle of the dance floor whilst their pregnant friend, who they're trying to focus more on and give more time to, is on the balcony watching them.
On her own.
On her own. And it's a weird one that throughout the film they sort of reference of how famous they are. They're taking over the globe. Yet no one in this club gives a shit that they're there.
No,
which I find weird.
Yeah. Well, then pregnant friend goes into labour. A second closer to them not giving a shit about her. She goes into labour, and Meatloaf has to drive her to the hospital. So she's on the bus, and all the girls are like, "Oh shit, we've never had someone give birth before." And Ginger says, "Just put your legs together." To which Scary says, "That's a bit late. She should have done that 9 months ago." And so then another one, I forgot who said this, just like, "Don't make her laugh or it'll shoot out like a cannonball."
That's Mel B again. The star of the scene. So after this hilarious dialogue on the bus, they get to the hospital. And
this is your favourite scene.
This is potentially
coming up
after the speedboat. So they're on her friend's on the bed. She's all prepped, ready to go to give birth. The fucking nurse comes in, and it's only the Spice Girls in the room, and the nurse comes in, and she's a bit like, "What's going on here?" And they're like, "Our friend's giving birth." And the nurse is like, "Well, how dilated is she?" Do the fucking Spice Girls know how dilated their friend is? And who the fuck put her in that bed and set her up?
They
got
did.
Her fucking legs apart.
Meatloaf did.
She's got, what the fuck is going on? Why is this fucking nurse coming in asking them how dilated their friend is?
Well, swiftly moving on. We haven't got a lot of time left, and there's a lot to talk about. This is another one of your favourite scenes, one of my favourite scenes by far.
Oh, go on, Gary.
These sketchy parents come down to the Spice Girls in the waiting room. They're like, "Oh, hello, excuse me, aren't you the Spice Girls?" And they're like, yeah, we are, yeah. And they're like, well, my son, he's banged his head and now he's unconscious. He's in hospital. Will you come and try talking to him to wake him up? How the fuck is that a medical way of bringing someone back into consciousness? Anyway, so 3 of them go. Sporty, Posh, and is it Ginger?
Ginger, yeah.
So they all go up to this room and like, hi, yeah, I'm Melanie C. I'm Jerry. And Victoria gets right up in his face and screams at him. She's like, and I'm Victoria Malcolm. And so they're thinking of ways to wake him up. And Victoria's like, to Jerry, maybe you should try taking your top off for him, Jerry. And Ginger's like, nah, there's no point. He's got his eyes shut. And all of a sudden this wakes him up. What the fuck?
Because this kid is like, what, 14?
12, 14. He is a child. And there are 2 grown women here suggesting that one of them takes her top off to flash her tits to wake him up. And she actually considers it and says there's no point because his eyes were shut. And this miraculously wakes him up. And the scene cuts, so we don't know if she actually takes the top off for him.
No. Well, I don't know.
What a fucking bizarre scene. Oh, God. I want to see Malcolm's spin-off film. I want to know the real story behind it. There's child abuse going on there. Those parents are so sketchy.
Well, the dad, when they mentioned taking the top off, the dad was like, ooh, yeah.
That kid did not bang his head by accident.
So after that scene,
pregnant friend gives
birth in the grand tradition of Hollywood films to a extremely clean baby.
Wow.
No umbilical cord, no placenta.
I mean, Baby Spice thought it was a beetroot.
Yeah, no sweat. Jerry's the one to pull the baby out.
You know, that famous nurse, Ginger Spice.
And then, so the friend's given birth, everyone's happy, everyone's having a great time.
And they couldn't give a shit about her anymore, they all walk off.
Yeah.
They spot Richard O'Brien with a camera, like, it's him! And like, how the fuck do you know who he is?
Earlier in the film, Richard E. Grant was having a meltdown, and they turned around and said, oh, it's only the papers, who gives a shit what they say?
Yeah.
So, suddenly, they do give a shit about what Richard O'Brien's been doing, even though, how the fuck do they know? Where's this come from?
Yeah. Chase him.
And make him see the error of his ways.
Yeah, and then this is cut in between the American filmmakers who start doing a meta-commentary on the film where they start describing the events that are happening as they happen. Yeah, the manager who's panicking because they're running late for their Royal Albert Hall show.
Yeah, so the writers finally decided on a good premise for the film.
Use the word loosely, please.
And essentially is describing what's happening in the film and comes up with they need to get to the Albert Hall as quickly as possible. Victoria drives.
Well, Meatloaf's having a nap on the floor for some reason.
Yeah, he's having a meatloaf. He's having he's eating a meatloaf. He's having a nap on the grass for some reason. And they have to quickly get to the Albert Hall. So Victoria says, I'll drive in these heels.
Hijacks the bus.
The
Brexit bus.
Hold on to your knickers, girl.
Yeah. So she's dangerously driving through London, probably hit a few kids on her way, and it'd probably be the least shocking thing in this film. Yeah, so he's having his nap, wakes up, they get on top of the Brexit bus for some reason, they fall into the bus again. The London Bridge is going up as they're driving across it, and they jump the bridge.
They do, so he's describing it, and George Wendt goes, well, that's not in the budget. So
yeah, so you see a little toy bus.
Is a little toy bus doing a jump. Yeah. So that's a little self-referential.
Then they decide to do a riff on Speed, the Sandra Bullock film, where they see there's... What, did I get it right?
No, I just like good gay.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, not Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves film, the Sandra Bullock film.
So there's they find a bomb on the bus. not really that bothered. They scream for a bit, leave the bus outside the Royal Albert Hall.
Well, it cuts, doesn't it? It cuts, and they're like, no, get to it, get to the
Yeah, like,
get
fuck
to
the
end.
bomb.
We don't
We
care
don't give
about
a
the
shit.
bomb.
So they, they run to into some police who are like, yeah, okay, you were dangerously driving around London. And like, oh, come on, let us out. And so, yeah, they carry on.
It's Emma Bunton getting away with murder.
Yeah, as always. I mean, potentially, she could have been getting away with murder. That bomb could have gone off at any point and killed a lot of people.
That's true.
So then we get back to the manager, talking to Alan Cummins, and he's about to commit suicide to the whole world.
I know, yeah, really dark moment.
He's like, so, what's going to happen is... Because he thinks they're not turning up. He's like, the live band will start playing. I'll walk out onto the stage, fucking kill myself. He has a noose. And this is being broadcast live to the whole world. And he's planning to kill himself there and then. On live streaming.
Yeah,
in front of this audience.
Weird, dark moment.
And then they all turn up and he's like, I love these girls. Doesn't want to kill himself anymore. And then we get the Albert Hall gig where they play Spice Up Your Life. And that's it.
Yeah, a little full version of Spice Up Your Life. The girls doing what they do best to finish off the film.
I love how the film's bookended by them, actually doing what they're good at.
Yeah.
And then the rest is just fucking a nightmare.
Filler, essentially.
But it doesn't end there, though. As part of the Spice Girls cinematic universe, we get some credit sequences where everyone's talking about how shit their roles are in the film. And then we get a bit of fourth wall breaking. And they start talking to the screen like, oh, hello. Oh, look at you there. Spilling that popcorn. Look at you making out in the back row. Oh, hello, you. And they're all doing all these cheesy lines and everything. And then the bus explodes.
Yeah, finally the bus explodes.
And that's it.
Yeah, and I wish the film fucking exploded too.
Oh, what a film.
That was a slog, a real slog to watch. It was...
Whilst we're being critical about it, if that film was watched with a lot of alcohol and a lot of friends, that would be so much fun.
Oh, it is hilarious.
So bad it's good.
It is hilarious.
The definition of so bad it's good.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just can't get over half of the stuff that happens in it. It's just bizarre. It really is.
There are so many scenes in this film where it feels like they've put words into a hat.
Yeah.
And just picked out what. So, pissing, alien. Okay, what can we do with this?
Yeah, this is British culture at its finest, guys.
It's very British. It's a very British
This
film.
had a fucking wide release.
It did.
I can't believe this film was in cinemas.
Because Spice Girls were massive.
But this fucking film was in cinemas.
Yeah, Spice Girls were huge. And it's just... It's a play off of Hard Day's Night, the Beatles film from the 60s. And I've not seen A Hard Day's Night, but as far as I know, that's been well received. So something like this can be done. But they just, I don't know, they're on something.
Yeah.
They were on something when they were writing this film, because
Well,
none of it makes any fucking sense.
It recently had a re-release at cinemas for its anniversary. Why would they think it's okay to show it these days at the cinema? Like, this is so bad. This is so inappropriate on so many levels. But it fucking is entertaining. You highly recommend you go and watch this just to see how bad it really is.
Yeah, you don't even have to be a Spice Girls
It's
fan.
on YouTube in full. That's where we watched it. It looks like shit, but I mean the film's shit anyway, so go and watch it just to witness this atrocity. Obviously a 1 star, but a solid, half a star on Letterboxd, a solid love heart from me.
Yes, it's 1 star. I probably wouldn't give it the love heart.
It has to be seen to be believed. But we better wrap this up.
Yeah.
Have you decided on a film for next week yet?
Do you know what? I'm thinking of going for a similar theme.
Uh-oh.
And I've got 2 choices.
Justin to Kelly.
Justin to Kelly. I've been dying to watch these 2 films for a while. It's either Xanadu or You Can't Stop the Music.
Okay.
It's one of the 2. So It'll be a nice little surprise.
Yes, we will make the announcement soon. So that's it. Thanks for listening. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. If you're listening on anything else, like and follow. We've been getting a lot of listeners on Facebook video recently, which is one I didn't even think to promote that before. But,
I don't think that was a thing.
Yeah, I mean, people seem to enjoy listening to us that way, so great. Carry on. Social media, we're Horror Cult Trash over on Facebook and Instagram, Horror Cult Trash on Twitter. Let us know if you have seen this, if you're going to watch this, what you think of it. If you're a Spice Girls fan, tell us who your favourite Spice Girl is and why it's Posh Spice. I'm Gazmo205 on Instagram, GazCruise92 on Twitter.
I'm Chris Barker823 on Instagram and Twitter.
And we'll see you same time, same place again next week. Thanks for listening.
Goodbye.
Really?
My friend.
Jesus Christ. I have nothing more to say. That's the end of the show.